Hey everyone, Tim Schofield here, and you may recognize the Xiaomi name from their phones that they make. However, did you know that they also make gaming monitors? So Xiaomi actually hit me up and said, hey, do you want to check out this new monitor we're coming out with? And it's a 34-inch ultra-wide curved gaming monitor. Now, the big deal about this monitor is that it's currently under $300 on Amazon. It's actually $270. And I actually looked around and I couldn't quite find another monitor that had the specs that this monitor has within that price range. Those specs include a 1440p VA panel up to 180 hertz refresh rate. You get a 1 millisecond response time, 1500R curvature, and a lot more. So let's take a quick look what we get in the box of this monitor, and then of course do some testing, play some games on this brand new G34WQi curved gaming monitor from Xiaomi. Let's get started. Opening up the box, we've got our getting started guide plus our power cable AC adapter, which is just a single cable, as you can tell, and the brick is fairly decent sized, but interesting that it isn't a two-piece power cable. And there's a look at all the specs. It also does come with a DisplayPort cable. Nice that it's not HDMI. Everyone's got a bunch of those. Got some screws and a tool to connect your base. Speaking of, here is the base with a lot of grip on the bottom. Plus, you also get the neck portion, so to speak, of the monitor. This will connect to the back of the monitor, and this will connect to that base via those screws. They did include the monitor color calibration factory report. Quick look at the back of the panel. We do have our settings and power button on the right side, plus where our monitor stand's going to connect to. These are where our connections are. Speaking of those connections, you got your power slot, 2 HDMI ports, 2 display ports, and a headphone jack. While we're here, let's grab our monitor stand, and it should be pretty easy. There you go. Should just snap right in. We are now secure and connected. By the way, we're doing some testing with the new Insta360 Flow, so keep an eye out for some of those gimbal shots. I'll link to this down in the description. But anyways, here is a quick look at the back before we flip it around and get everything all connected. Plugging our monitor in, everything went very smoothly, and we are all set up and ready to go. Now, first things first, I'd like to go into the on-screen display and check out that menu. You'll see 180 hertz is enabled right there. Also, Freesync Premium is included, so love to see that. Even if you have an NVIDIA graphics card, that's fine. They have a few preset modes like standard, energy saver, movie, and low blue light. Also, you can customize brightness, contrast, color temperature, hue, saturation. I did have to bump up the saturation a little bit just for my liking. You can go and make it faster or fastest with the response time if you have any issues with ghosting, etc. Sharpness, dark scene boost, and a couple more. By the way, great to see that you have an option for color space, 100% sRGB, DCI-P3, and native. So just go through, find what you like. It's great to have all of these options. Now going down, there's a game mode that you can turn on and customize depending on the specific game that you're playing. So it's up to you. It will change some settings. You can tell right away that it looks different when it's on or when it's off. Going to advanced, again, Freesync Premium HDR, which I don't think it has an HDR certification, interestingly enough. I couldn't find one, so I'm still a little curious about what HDR is doing. Windowed mode, so you can have split screen with window 1, 2 input, picture in picture. Finally, going into settings. Refresh rate I have on, so you'll see it in the upper right-hand corner, and that's about it. So you'll see there's that refresh rate up in the top right. Now next, let's dive into those display settings. I can tell that it's not the highest refresh rate by default. So if we go into advanced display, you can choose one, and there's a lot of different steps. You can even customize 144, 165, but obviously I'm going to go all the way up to that 180 hertz. Going back, you can also see that it is using that 3440 by 1440 resolution. And I have to say, I do really like the curvature to this monitor. It makes it very comfortable, especially when you're sitting right at the center of that monitor. And speaking of center of the monitor, I'd like to point out that the viewing angles aren't as great as other monitor panels. Since it is a VA panel, there are some drawbacks, and that's to be expected because it is just a VA panel. So if you're someone that does sit in the middle of your monitor, it's really not that big of a deal, but if you're sitting off to the side, you might notice a little bit of discoloration. Now, it's not crazy dramatic with the color change, but you can notice it with your eye. I don't think the camera is going to be able to pick it up. And I have to say, while gaming, I'm really impressed with this panel. Actually, the fast response time helps quite a bit. And of course, having 180 hertz is fantastic, especially when you play games that you can get 180 plus frames per second. Personally, I play a lot of fast-paced games, and I thought it looked really good. I'm actually very impressed, especially at the price point of this monitor. The colors look really good, and of course, it is really smooth with that high refresh rate. To be honest, 1440p over 144 hertz gaming is probably the sweet spot, especially if you can get a monitor that's priced like this one is. The resolution is also great for having multiple applications open at once. Since it's an ultra-wide monitor, you're going to want a bunch of apps on the left and the right-hand side. Take full advantage of this screen real estate. And again, you do get those VA panel drawbacks. There's also no USB hub, so you can't plug in any sort of USB accessories or components. I would have liked to have seen USB-C in the back as well, but you're going to have to make sacrifices at this price point. But anyways, that is it from me on the Xiaomi 34-inch ultra-wide angle monitor. Drop a comment, let me know what you think. Again, I'm really impressed. A VA panel is not necessarily my cup of tea, but again, you do get a solid monitor at currently $270. It's actually kind of crazy. But drop a comment, let me know what you think. Link is in the description. Be sure to give this video a thumbs up. And as always, thanks for watching.